Hey everybody, how you doing? For those of you not familiar with my channel, I'm Zinni Abraham. This is Zinni62 on YouTube. This channel is a YouTube partner channel. It's been around since April 21st of 2006. That was first vlog here. And partner channel, it's been around since April 21st of 2006. That was first vlog here. And I'm talking about a subject that I don't usually wade into, but I heard a young sister vlogger make a comment that made my hair stand on end, and I don't have any much. This is what I heard, and it is from the post that Sudani Summers made earlier today, and it goes, well, here, let me stop it right there. So Issa Rae and start it right there, okay? And make sure that you see it and she in all of her glory. And here we go.
Lauren London were at odds for years because Issa recalled how TV executives wanted to cast Lauren London as the main character of her now hit TV show Insecure after the rise of her web series Awkward Black Girl. At Diddy's Grammy party, Nipsey Hussle sat them both down. They had a conversation and fences were made per. But can we talk about how so easily Black women are erased from our own narratives? Now, Lauren London is a talented actress in her own right, but Awkward Black Girl, which turned into Insecure, was one of the first TV shows where we saw dark-skinned Black women in roles that didn't involve them being maids or depicted as extremely poverty-stricken and down on their luck.
That's what bothered me. Let's continue.
And throughout the TV show's run, Issa Rae has done an amazing job of casting brown skin, dark skin, light skin, curvy, and just characters that are overall relatable and look like everyday Black people. And I honestly feel like if Issa Rae would have folded under that TV executive's pressure to cast Lauren London, it honestly would have been like every other show that we see on Netflix. Y'all know what I'm talking about. How do you feel about this? So Issa...
Okay, so that's what bothered me. Now, Issa Rae is the woman above the head of Sudani, okay? That's Issa Rae, right above her. She's gorgeous, Black, all right? And Lauren London is not... When I look at Lauren London, I don't look at Lauren London as a light-skinned Black woman. I look at Lauren London as a chocolate Black woman, right? But what really got me wasn't that. It was this insistence on rewriting history, and in the process, forgetting about if she ever knew about the great contributions of Diane Carroll. And Diane Carroll, if you don't know, passed away in 1989. And as this post reads from Twitter, Diane Carroll walked this earth for 84 years and broke ground with every footstep, an icon, one of the all-time greats. She blazed trails through dense forests and elegantly left diamonds along the path for the rest of us to follow. Extraordinary life. Thank you, Ms. Carroll. And as is pointed out in the CBS News account, Diane Carroll played Julia Baker, a nurse whose husband had been killed in Vietnam in the groundbreaking situation comedy that aired from 1968 to 1971. Diane Carroll walked as you were this earth, as a quote. This is Ava DuVernay recognizing the contributions of Diane Carroll. But I watched Julia. I was born August 4th, 1962. By the time Julia came on, I was 8 years old. And it was path-breaking, not just a path-breaking moment in history for Diane Carroll and for Julia. It was path-breaking for all of us. My mom was one of the first Black reservation salespeople United Airlines ever hired. There are a gigantic number of firsts. Some of you may have seen the movie Hidden Figures. That occurred during the late 50s and 60s. What bothers me about what's going on now is encapsulated in what Sudani Summers said, okay? And I think it should be emphasized that Sudani's expression, and I haven't talked to her about this yet, but her expression seems to indicate that she only looks at media that's accessible to her through her phone. And Julia, quite obviously, wasn't one of those programs that she went to her phone to look at. I don't even know if Julia's available. Maybe it'll be available on YouTube, but available. I would be surprised if it's not. It's in this day and age, it's pretty easy to find. But this expression, this constant expression that we see of this insecurity, is bothersome, and it takes away from the contributions of Diane Carroll. All right, let me listen to this observation from the CBS News account about Julia. It had its critics, though, including some who said Carroll's character, who is the mother of a young son, was not a realistic portrayal of a Black woman in the 1960s. They said it was fantasy. Carroll recalled in 1998. All of this was untrue. Much about the character of Julia I took from my own life and my family. But again, life wasn't fantasy to me, because I was living that life with my mom at the time Julia was on television, and at the same time that other people were saying, oh, Black folks just don't live like that. Because my mom worked tonight, we're able to travel to places like Hawaii every year, stay at some of the best hotels, and enjoy the finer aspects of life regardless of color. The privilege United Airlines gave my mother of being a reservation sales agent allowed that, and she held that job for almost 30 years. So we need a reset here, because I'm really concerned that Black women of the age of Sudani Summers have it in their head, driven in their head, that by social media, that there's something wrong with being Black. But what's really wrong is encapsulated in another sentence that she uttered, talking about Sudani Summers, when she was talking. And that's, and it really has to be noted and addressed as well, because it can skip right by you and you'd never pick it up. But she did say it. It didn't get past me. Okay. It did not get past me. And what she said was, pure and simple, that, I'll roll back.
Extremely
hear this, but I want you to pay attention to this right here.
Were at odds for years because Issa recalled how TV executives wanted to cast Lauren London as the main character of her now hit TV show Insecure after the rise of her web series Awkward Black Girl. At Diddy's Grammy party, Nipsey Hussle sat them both down. They had a conversation and fences were made per. But can we talk about how so easily Black women are erased from our own narratives?
Okay, stop that. All right. Think about what she just said. Can we talk about how Black women are so erased from their own narratives? That only happens when you allow someone else to tell your story. And it happens when you expect an organization that be white owned and ran to tell your story. The simple fact of the matter is this, folks, and I want you to understand what I'm saying. The most popular people that you probably have known in your lives have been people who express themselves. They've been cultures unto themselves. You know who they are. Similarly, you're attracted to certain types of foods and cultures because you find something about them that's interesting. But think about it. Think about it this way. Suppose those cultures so subordinated their activities, who they are, that you didn't know about them. There would be nothing to latch on to, nothing to enjoy, nothing to want to be a part of. That's why it's very important for Black culture in its many different kaleidoscopic ways to express itself. To say, hey, look, this is what we do. It's not just self-affirming. What you'll find is that people who are not Black, including folks who are white, will be attracted. You want an example of what I'm talking about? I'll give you one. Hip hop. Hip hop was the first music I can think of that was so unapologetically Black that is threatening to the police. Okay? And yet, look at the interracial following that hip hop attracted. To this day, by remaining itself, true to its roots, not diluted or silenced, and always growing. It spawned programs like Yo MTV Raps. Think about it. Why did MTV do that? Because white people were attracted to it. I'm talking about the importance of realizing yourself and loving who you are so much that you embrace your heritage and you're not of the opinion like the one that appears to be expressed by Sudani Summers, that, hey, until she came along or she was born or she became an adult, talking about Sudani Summers, prior to that, there weren't any Black women in entertainment that did not portray a stereotypical role. And Summers says this roughly 2 years after the passing of Diane Carroll, which means you have to ask her, where were you and why? But the fact that she's popular means she's not the only young Black woman that thinks that. She's not the only young Black person that thinks that. We've got to get out of this idea that we're forever downtrodden, You have to embrace people who are making positive change, who in building their own media, like Morgan DeBaum, for example, who raised with her Howard University friends $10.6 million to run Blavity, excuse me. There are other examples of us doing things that someone else who looks like me might think someone white does only. And that idea is expressed again and again and again. We must stop expressing ideas that amount to failure upon other people. We must stop putting down others who dare build their own platforms, start their own companies, and make a difference. Because my concern is, if you don't have that strength going forward to create companies and your ideas in your own culture, in the coming years, you're not going to succeed, because it's those ideas and cultures and creations that form the content that other people want to buy and consume. You see what I'm getting at? If you're not consuming it, if you're not producing it, who's going to want to consume it? Doesn't matter if it's a small audience or a big one, or a small audience now that becomes big later. Happens. So that's what I want to say. Don't forget Diane Carroll. don't forget other women actresses as well, black women actresses. And you know what? Don't put down the ones who did portray servant roles. Look, Butterfly McQueen is an American treasure who had an unfortunate end. Hattie McDowell, Gone with the Wind, she won an Oscar. You want to throw that away too? No. So we have to get out of that, you know. All right, subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark oaklandnewsnow.com. That ends this broadcast.